Have you ever tried rolling your R's like they do in Spanish? Well, it might be harder than you think. Nice try, but that is only the beginning, because across the world there are languages which are hiding impossible sounds that English never prepared us for. Things like the nose vowel and the side hiss L. The good news is there's nothing wrong with you at all if you can't make these sounds. They are genuinely very, very hard. It's just that your brain has been stuck on English mode. So I am going to show you why these tricky sounds are so hard for us English speakers in the first place, and the exact techniques you can use to produce them properly, to make them a whole lot easier. So here are 8 of the toughest sounds in the world for English speakers and how to finally tame them.
500 chatons chantant 500 chansons.
French and Portuguese have a sneaky trick that catches everybody out: the nasal vowels.
I knew a guy, his name was Pas bon. Pas bon, no good. C'est bon? But that's good, yeah.
If you try to say the word bon in French or bon in Portuguese, the sound doesn't just come out of your mouth, it also sneaks up into your nose as well. And this is where English speakers get into a whole lot of trouble.
This word right here is the word for no in Portuguese. And most English speakers would say this like now, but you don't want to do that, especially with words like this, because it'll mean something completely different.
See, in English, our noses barely get involved in speech, not really, apart from the ng sound at the end of song, for example. Our noses they're not doing anything, they're just along for the ride. So when we try the word bon in French, we usually get bone, o, or bon in Portuguese turns into pa. Actually, I'm not allowed to say that, it's a very rude word in Portuguese.
A palavra pão, com som nasal, é o nome de alimento feito com farinha. Pão. Pão.
The funny thing is, half the battle with these sounds is simply hearing the sound in the first place. If your ear can't tell that there is a nasal buzz going on, you won't know what you're looking for. So your first job is to binge the real thing. Listen to lots of this sound. You can hear the sound in conversations, in songs, in podcasts, stories, until your brain finally locks onto that nasal quality. Once your ears are tuned in, here's how to find it yourself. So you can say the word bon from French while pinching your nose shut like this. Bon, bon. If the sound stops dead, like it is for me, bon, you nailed it. If the sound keeps going, bon, bon, then you're still, the air's coming out of your mouth. That buzz is exactly what French and Portuguese need. So a silly sentence like, non deixe o bon depois de amanhã. You hear all those little those nasal sounds in there? Once your nose learns to pull its weight like that, you won't sound like a tourist anymore.
U, 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 U. Uben.
You know how some languages have those vowels with the 2 dots on top? You might have seen it. Well, the U with the 2 dots is a troublemaker. German, Mandarin, even Turkish use it. Now, of course, Mandarin does not use letters, but it has the sound. Bear with me. Let's start with German. It has some troublesome sounds, German, for English speakers, and the umlaut letters are important to get right because it can change the meaning of the word.
Wenn du sagst schwul und schwül, yeah, it's a very big difference if you say schwul or schwül.
Yeah, that U seems to be a real pain. It's a bit like saying E with your tongue, but ooh with your lips.
The higher one that you would use to call your dog or a well-trained husband. James, do it with me. Try to copy the sound of the air leaving your lips with your voice.
By the way, if you want to improve your pronunciation across the board, all of our story learning courses come with full pronunciation training inside. So whatever language it is that you're learning, we have over 15 or 16 now at Story Learning. I've lost track. We go very deep into the pronunciation, including a lot of immersive video lessons that help you produce all the sounds of the language properly. I'll put a link in the description to those courses if you'd like to have a look. Now, what about Mandarin Chinese? Because the U sound shows up in a sneaky way. You'll spot it in words like woman or female, and if you mess it up, you could end up saying anger instead. Anger is the U sound without umlaut. So how do you actually hit it? It's the same trick as before. Tongue stuck on E, lips rounded like oo, but in Mandarin, the U often follows N or L, N, L, which makes it sound even tighter and sharp. Here's how to get it right.
You have to round your lips and then put the tip of your tongue down behind your bottom front teeth and raise the front part of your tongue towards the roof of your mouth. But remember to pronounce U sound.
If you really think about it, every sound is possible to make. Right? Otherwise, nobody would learn languages at all. Different languages wouldn't exist. The key really is to focus. It's to start listening to native speakers as much as you possibly can to dial in your ear. And I don't normally advocate movies as the best way to study a language, but movies can be incredibly useful for watching people's mouths so you can see exactly what they're doing and hear how they speak. And you don't want to waste your time listening to those silly slowed down recordings. There's no point there. You need to hear the real thing, the genuine article, real people speaking slowly, speaking fast, just naturally. The best place to get that? TV, movies, documentaries, even local news or reality shows. These are all full of the natural speech patterns your brain needs. But here's the catch. Most of that content is locked to certain countries. The very show that you need most might be blocked where you live. And that's where NordVPN comes in, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. But here's why. See, Nord lets you switch your virtual location so you can unlock movies from over 118 countries. And 118 countries is a lot of languages, which is really great because then you're not just stuck with your local Netflix. Let's say that you are finally working on your Spanish or trying to nail a Parisian French accent. Well, go to NordVPN, you switch your location like so, and there you go, you're in. You can even watch Czech MasterChef, believe it or not.
Kuba, my jsme se rozhodli vaše jídlo v této výzvě neochutnat.
Yes, NordVPN works on all your devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and it protects your Wi-Fi from the pesky hackers as well, which you'll definitely want to do if you're using public Wi-Fi or watching things on the go like I often do on the train. And the less said about train Wi-Fi, the better. I've been using NordVPN for years, and it's honestly one of the best tools you can have as a language learner. So if you want to give it a try, you can head over to nordvpn.com/Olly Richards and see just how much super cool, authentic content you've been missing out on this whole time. You didn't even know it was there. It's fast, it's super simple, and it's the perfect companion if you're training your ear to hear the tricky sounds of a new language. Now, right now, they've got a great deal for you. It's 4 extra months free on a 2-year plan with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's totally risk-free. Grab the deal at nordvpn.com/Olly Richards or look for that link in the description. Russian has this vowel that completely messes with beginners. When you first see it, it even looks confusing, almost like the letters B and L stuck together, but it's not a consonant at all. It's actually a vowel, and it sits in this weird space between E and U.
Sound I. This is what it sounds like. It looks like a BL in English. I.
I know, it sounds really strange, but only because it doesn't exist in most other languages. Now, to a Russian speaker, it's completely normal. The sound is deep in the mouth.
E, just simply say it for a long time. E. And slowly, very, very slowly, start moving your tongue back. E. Right here. E. That's it.
Here's the problem. We have zero muscle memory for this sound. We've never made it before. And so when you hear it, your brain automatically looks for the closest matching sound that we have in English. And it goes, oh, that must be E. Luckily though, you can train your mouth to make the right sound without even thinking. Just be willing to sound a little bit silly for a while. That is the price of crossing the toll bridge. But let's say you'd rather learn a language like Korean. Well, Korean has a very similar vowel, not the same, let's be clear, but close enough that it creates the same kind of struggle.
Repeat after me.
크리스마스 카드 프린트했어요?
What really throws learners off is when you get romanization. So the way Korean is sometimes written in the Roman alphabet to make it easier for people like us to read, they write this sound as EU, and our English brain reads this as U, but that's nothing like the real sound. Listen to how this guy says his name.
손흥민.
Amazing how it helps to see a native speaker's mouth, right? I think we just found a very good reason to watch Korean TV. And if you want to practice this sound, here's the perfect way.
For making sound, make your lips slightly open left and right. Don't tense your tongue and lips.
That was pretty cool. Now, here's the one you've been waiting for.
Aren't you understanding?
What kind of word is that?
I think it's Gaelic, like akarai.
Okay.
No, it's
Is that close?
This is the rock star of impossible sounds for English speakers, the rolled R. Spanish, Italian, Russian, entire languages are powered by this pesky sound, but English, well, we just never learned to make our tongues vibrate like that. So beginners end up growling like a broken lawnmower. When I was learning Spanish back in the day, I had to practice rolling my R's to death. In fact, it took me about 2 years of massacring my rolled R before one day it finally just kind of emerged. And I remember stopping dead in the street and saying, oh my God, I've just made the rolled R. And I just sat there and did it a million times to make sure I would never forget it. Everyone struggles with this at first. Now, let me show you a cool trick to do this yourself. I want you to relax your tongue on the ridge just behind your teeth, like that, and then blow air through until your tongue starts to flutter a little bit like a motorbike sound. Now, don't overthink it. We want your tongue on the ridge behind your teeth and then some air. And then when you've got that together, just add a bit of sound.
Parra tenía una perra, guerra tenía una parra, la perra de parra subió la parra de guerra.
There we go, but wait till you see this madness.
Is a Czech tongue twister that highlights something very special about the Czech language, which is that it's able to put a trill in the middle of a syllable.
It's a legendary sound, the Czech R with horns. Yep, R with horns. Czech has a bit of a nightmare R, you see. It's a rolled R, plus a j sound, as in the word measure. R plus j. And you're supposed to say them at the same time. Now they say that this is possible. It just takes time and effort and watching native speakers' mouths so you can see the technique.
Say them quietly and slowly close your teeth. Tre, 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 tre.
Řekl, talíř, bouřka, řemeslo.
Yeah, now as I expertly demonstrated, I cannot make this sound, but unless you are moving to Prague, you likely won't need it either. But if you can nail it, every Czech person will love you forever. And the Guinness Book of Records once called it the rarest sound on earth. So it's a pretty good party trick. Now, by the way, if you would like a simple map of the different languages in the world and their difficulty, well, I have got something for you. It's called the Story Learning Language Difficulty Chart. It's completely free. You can get the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Here's what it is. It's a simple 2-page document that saves you a lot of guesswork if you're not sure how difficult the language you're learning is, or maybe you're considering learning a new language and you'd like to know how difficult. But this is not just a straightforward ranking as you get in most other guides. There's more. So on the first page, you get the language by difficulty ranking based on the perspective of a native English speaker. But then on the second page, what you get is overlaps between languages, because a language can be easier if you already know a language that is similar to it. So the second page of our chart groups together languages that have something in common. It could be a similar script, similar sounds or grammar patterns, lots of borrowed words called cognates, so that when you learn one, the next language from that group becomes a lot easier to learn, and this can really be a shortcut to learning multiple languages. Anyway, the chart's totally free. You can scan the QR code or grab the link in the description. Just finally managed to get those words out, all these impossible sounds. And this is English. Right, now, if you're chewing gum whilst you're watching this video, now's the time to spit it out.
Jeg kan godt lide en pige med lidt ben i næsen, så man kan lave noget sjovt sammen. Om det er ud at bade eller tage ud og vandre, så lige noget for mig.
Denmark takes strange to a whole new level, and everyone in Scandinavia agrees this is a little bit wild. See, Danish has this unique sound that is supposed to be a D, but it doesn't sound like a D. It sounds more like an L, or is it a the? Seriously, it's an oddball, and this makes it very hard to learn.
Jeg hedder Hedvig, og du hedder Ida.
Jeg hedder Ida.
Now don't worry, you can watch a pro do this in just a sec. So English speakers really struggle with this sound because in English the letter D is always a clean, hard tap of the tongue. D, 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 like that. But what's this guy's mouth?
Mad, that means food. Mad. There's also bad, that means shower. Glad, happy.
Great explanation, but I think he's exaggerating his mouth a little bit. Let's see.
So a soft D is, for example, when we say mad, måned, so it's that sound. Hedder, jeg hedder Martha.
Wow. Well, it's interesting that this funny D even exists because Danish comes from Old Norse, which is the Viking language, but they never had this strange sound back then. This sound actually evolved. That's right, it used to be a regular D. The sound just got lazy over time, and now it just can't be bothered.
It sounds so strange. It's like an L, but instead of when we say L, tongue goes up. Here, tongue goes down behind the teeth.
Well, there you go. Now you can learn Danish, and then Swedish and Norwegian will be an absolute breeze because their D sound didn't evolve into this weirdness. Japanese has an F, but it's not like an English F, a F, because in English we bite our lip, F, like that. In Japanese, your lips do no biting, because in Japanese there are literally no sounds where your teeth even touch your lips, which in itself is crazy. As a Japanese speaker myself, I can tell you that this sound is not particularly hard to create. What's weird is in your brain, because your brain's going to tell you that it's a F sound, but actually it's not. Then your brain will tell you it's a H sound, but it's not that either. It's kind of halfway in between. What happens with most of us is we just end up saying F, but it's completely wrong.
The air comes out of your lips. It's like blowing a candle very gently. Hu, hu.
It's like on the top of your teeth right here, you want to barely graze their bottom lip. So it's like a soft.
Now that is the Japanese F, although it's important to say that in Japanese itself, the F has absolutely no, it doesn't even feature. This is just the English way of thinking about it. And this sound is halfway between a H and a F, halfway between a hu and a fu. And that's why this guy is saying futon all wrong.
I actually got a Japanese futon 6 years ago. I actually got rid of the bed that was in there and got a $100 Japanese futon off of Amazon.
I know, we've all been saying it wrong this entire time. And you can keep calling it a futon when speaking English, but if you're speaking Japanese, you're going to want to do it the right way, please. That's why Fuji, as in Mount Fuji, is not Fuji, it's closer to Fuji.
Oh, yeah, and what do you think that means?
Oh dear.
Congratulations!
Now, if you ever stared at a Welsh word like this and wondered what on earth that double L is, well, spoiler alert, it's not a double L at all. It's a hissy, sideways sound made by blowing air around the sides of your tongue.
Step 1, the letter L. L. So you're going to leave your tongue there. And then you're going to do step 2. Embody a cat. Become the cat. Be the best cat you can be. So,
Yes, like a cat. And remember this one, because if you ever go to Wales or Iceland or even Mexico, you're going to need it to pronounce a lot of place names.
And then one that I really struggle to say is a place just outside Bala called Llanwchlyn, and it's got that ch sound and the sh right next to it, Llanwchlyn.
In the Navajo language, it's the same letter, but they just write it differently. Now, in Mexico, there is an indigenous language called Nahuatl. Now, Nahuatl takes that exact hissy L sound and glues a T in front of it. That's the tl sound you hear at the end.
So this is a problem a lot of people have when they start learning Nahuatl. The TL at the end of a lot of words isn't pronounced tl, it's pronounced k. Basically, a way that you can think of doing it is putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth like you're going to make a T sound, but letting the air come out of the sides of your mouth.
But that's not all. Icelandic puts yet another spin on it.
Botley, Hatla, Stoke, Fiat.
It's almost like you're saying turtle really fast, isn't it? Turtle, turtle.
This is by far my favorite letter in any language on the planet. It kind of looks like a backwards 3 and it makes the Ayin sound. Ayin, Ayin. If I could marry a letter, I probably wouldn't, but I would consider dating Ayin, 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 Ayin.
Right, now you knew that this language was coming, didn't you? Admit it. Arabic, this wonderful language, has a sound, one sound, well, multiple sounds. It has a sound in particular that will make your throat panic. It is written with the letter Ayin, and to English speakers, it feels like trying to swallow and talk at the same time. We literally have nothing like it in English, not even close. So when we try it, we usually swap it for a plain ah sound instead, or we sort of tense up and start coughing. Now, you can get away with a normal R sound. People will probably follow along, but it just sounds completely wrong to a native. When I first learned Arabic in Egypt, this sound was really my arch enemy. It probably still is. I was butchering the Ayin for weeks or months. Some people will say I'm still butchering it to this day. It was a humbling experience, but also kind of funny. So why is it so hard? Because English never uses these throat muscles for language. Your pharynx is just there for swallowing. And suddenly Arabic wants you to give it a speaking role? It comes from really deep in the throat, almost like squeezing your throat shut, but letting sound out. And you really can't fake it. So try this instead. Say a relaxed ah, nice and relaxed, ah. Now start to swallow as you're saying it and feel your throat narrow, ah. And at that exact moment, add voice.
Ayin, ayin.
Fun fact, this sound is so unusual, it's classed as what's called a pharyngeal consonant. It means a sound that you make by gently squeezing the space deep in your throat. Hardly any languages in the world have one, but Arabic built entire words out of it, names like Ali. Now, if you skip it, you're saying a different word altogether, so yeah, it's tough, but my Egyptian teachers could get me out of my RRR and sounding even partially Egyptian. Trust me, anyone can do it. But these 8 sounds are still pretty tame compared with the sounds in my next video. It's about 5 impossible languages and it's jam-packed with hilarious demos and sounds that will make your eyes literally water. You've got to see it to believe it, really.